And that's where I think for me, data has always been the thing that basically breaks me free of this pattern attraction stuff and keeps me back into my intuition stuff. And it's the one thing that's always worked for me is like, if I look at the numbers, if I look at the evidence over time, then I can be true to what's occurring and what's in reality.
Yeah, and I think that data can also be seen in different signs and symptoms that are going on for you physically, mentally, and emotionally. I know relationship health is so, and this is of any kind of relationship health is critical to our overall physical, mental, and emotional well-being, right? I mean, relationships build us as humans.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, do you see how they're tied together? And do you see if there's certain symptoms or data that maybe are more frequent physically, mentally, emotionally when it comes to poor or good relationship health?
Yeah, I think with poor relationship health, it tends to be a thing where our patterns or our what we're familiar with is right there in front of us, and we think that this is good. And it's not. It's just something that we're used to and it's familiar. And I think that's the trickiest part. So like someone I was raised in the car business. It was very exciting, all this stuff, very driven, very boom 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 all the time. And so someone who fit that kind of like let's go out, outgoing, overconfident, all that stuff was very attractive to me. And I could kind of ignore the other stuff that was like, that should have been important that I wasn't paying attention to. And that's where it's important for us to realize personally and understand that. And that's where this dating for me this whole year has been really helpful, is because I know what a good relationship feels like now. And I didn't. And I didn't before. And it's because I'm tracking it and I'm seeing my score having a 10, like I'm seeing that vibe check, having a 10, having high numbers. And it makes me think, oh, that's what a good relationship feels like, as opposed to what I thought was a good relationship. And it wasn't. That was butterflies. That was an anxious attachment style. That was a people pleasing. That was, ex trauma drama. That was, divorced parents. That was stuff that I thought felt good, but it wasn't. And that's where the behavior of who you're choosing shifts. And that's really where Clara for Daters becomes so powerful, is because now when I go on a date with people or with a man, I'll go out on the date, I'll do the vibe check. And if there was no chemistry or like I didn't feel butterflies or anything, there's always like, I don't want to go on a second date with him. But then I go on the vibe check and it asks me questions. And how I design Clara is with psychologists. And we ask 10 questions. And the questions are around emotional safety, relational safety, physical safety, chemistry, and values. But when you hear these questions, it's going to be like, did you feel respected? Was it obvious that your date was into you? Was there a quality about your date that you found attractive, right? And if I go on a first date with a guy who I didn't necessarily feel like that butterfly anxiousness, but I go through those questions afterwards and he scores a 10, then I'm like, wait, Jillian, why am I not going on a second date with this person? I obviously felt really good. I felt the chemistry. There was a quality that I found attractive. There was values that were aligned. Like I went through the questions and it felt really good. Why not consider going on more dates with this person? Right. And that's where we're adjusting the mindset and recognizing what a healthy relationship is versus a not so healthy. Because we ask the same question, maybe a guy who's like super hot, definitely my type, right? Felt the butterflies, but it wasn't obvious he was into me. He didn't ask me on a second date. He didn't ask me any questions about myself. There was a conversation topic that I felt uncomfortable with. All these questions, but the before me would have seen, like, not been logging, would have not seen a 3, and would have been like, oh my gosh, I hope this guy texts me back because he was so hot and I just want to go on a second date with him. And I would ignore the other guy who scored a 10. But now, because I have this data, I'm seeing, hey, 10's a good relationship. 3 looks a little sketch, maybe we should pay attention to that and not fixate on if he's going to text you back or not. But that's kind of how I'm trying to figure out the level of this crazy thing that is love. I mean, it's complex, it's difficult, and everyone is unique, and that's the hard part. But the beauty about Clara is it's how you feel when you're logging everything. And Clara for Daters is never going to tell you, don't go on a second date with that three. That's up to you. Like, if you want to go on dates with a three, you can go on the dates with a three. No one's going to tell you not to. It's just recognizing that, hey, after these vibe check scores, it feels kind of low, and you've been on a 10 now, you know what that feels like. And that might be something to consider when you go on these dates.